Hey guys, this is Sean with Patton Presents. I'm very excited to bring you the 6 keys to greatness, and this is the first one: perspective and gratitude. If you're the type of person who wants to reach your full potential, to make an impact on the world, to do more and be more, you owe it to yourself to watch this video. I hope you like it. Enjoy. Let's talk about the first key to greatness: perspective and gratitude. So the important part here is actually balancing the global perspective, widening your aperture, and allowing that to bring gratitude and gratefulness into your life, to bring a sense of fulfillment and contentment with what you have in front of you, without allowing that to drive you to a place of apathy, saying, well, I'm fine. I've been given all these things. I'm grateful, and therefore I'm done. Right? It's taking the perspective that to whom much is given, much is to be expected. And that's the overarching theme here, right? The obligation of greatness. The strong belief that with the potential to be great, to make a difference in the world, to live up to your potential, comes an inherent moral obligation to be so, to do so, to be more. But we have to balance that with this gratitude and perspective with what we have, and use that perspective and that gratitude to drive us to excel, to reach our full potential. So let me use a few examples and stories to illustrate my point. First, look around what you have wherever you're at watching this video right now. Maybe you're watching on your phone, on a train or a bus, all right? Or maybe you're at home sitting on the couch or watching on your phone, or maybe you're sitting at your desk watching your computer. However you're watching and watching this video right now. Look at what you have, right? Look at what the average American has. Again, if you have a U.S. bank account, you're in the top 10 wealthiest percent of people in the world, right? I'm going to throw up a quick picture. Do you know where that is? That's Afghanistan, right? Let's throw another one up. Do you know where that is? That's Sudan. Places like Sub-Saharan Africa and Central Asia. And I've been to some of those places. And let me tell you, they would give anything to have even a sliver of what you have. They're living in mud huts. They're bathing in the same water that they defecate in, that they clean their clothes in, that they drink. They have thatched roofs. They have holes in the ground in the back of the yard, and all the sewage flows in together. And yet we complain because traffic's too bad. There's new people moving into town. Taxes, right? All these little things. Instead of having the gratitude for all the little things that we take for granted every day. People often ask me what is the greatest thing or the biggest benefit of my time, my 14 years in the U.S. Army. And I tell them every time, perspective, gratitude. Because every time I come home, I park my car. I don't have a garage, so I have to walk around to the front. I walk around to my front door and have a porch. And anytime it's cold or rainy, I always stop. And I get this rush of feel-good chemicals, all the dopamine, serotonin, all that good stuff, endorphins. They rush through my body as I look around and realize I get to go inside. Right? My guess is if you're watching this video, you don't have to sleep outside tonight. You're going to be inside. Not only that, but I get to walk in and I've got my dogs and I've got my loving wife and I've got a comfy couch and a blanket and a warm meal. And if we get a little chilly, we can hit a button on the wall and all of a sudden it's going to be 1 degree warmer, 2 degrees warmer. You probably got a fancy thermostat. We don't have to touch it. It just automatically knows what temperature you want it to be. Or you can talk to it with your voice, right? These things are crazy. The vast majority of human beings, not just throughout time, but even now in 2020, don't have these things. And you do. And this is amazing. And we take it for granted almost every day. Let's use another story. When I was raised until the time I was in junior high by a single mother who had no financial support from my biological father, and had dropped out of college. She had a job at a hotel. It was a good job. She had me. She quit the job to spend more time with me and tried to run a daycare out of her home. And we lived in near poverty, if not poverty. And then she realized, I need to do more. I want my son, I want my baby to have a better life than this. And then I watched her work full time, raise me, put herself through undergrad and graduate school to become a school psychologist to work with special needs kids. Right? So anytime I start feeling sorry for myself, I look back and I see the love and the sacrifice that she gave to put me in this position. And mediocrity is no longer an option for me. And it shouldn't be for you. Because I guarantee if it wasn't, that's my story, but if that story isn't yours, that's fine. But I guarantee whether it was your mother, your father, your grandparents, whoever your caretakers were, teachers, coaches, not just one, multiple people, a lot of people have sacrificed and given up their time, their effort, their love to you. So you could do more. And you could be more. And with that comes an obligation, not just to yourself to achieve your potential, but to them to achieve your potential. And to have gratitude for what they gave you, but not a contentment that says, I am grateful. I'm grateful for everything I have. I don't need anything else. I don't want anything else. I'm not talking about things right now. I'm talking about, I don't need to do more for the world because everything's fine for me. Well, there's a lot of people who didn't have those things, who gave up those things so that you could have what you have now and be in the position to do what you have the potential to do right now. So let me give you another example here, the final story of someone that's near and dear to my heart. His name is Scott Studeman. So Scott Studeman was raised in a very wealthy, well-to-do family. He went to the best private schools in Southern California. All of his friends, they were members of the local country club. His mother was one of the top business women in all of California. His father was a university professor. Scott could have done next to nothing and lived a better life in terms of wealth and things than I probably ever will. But you know what? Scott left college and enlisted in the Army to be a U.S. Special Forces Green Beret. Because he knew that he had more to give. He knew he could do more. He wanted to make a bigger impact. And Scott did that. And then in June 2014, his team, my former team, came under fire in Afghanistan. And they were taking casualties. They needed to get a helicopter in to get everyone out. So Scott and another one of my former soldiers, Jason McDonald, led a coalition of a small group, I should say, of U.S. soldiers and Afghani soldiers up to a ridgeline to suppress the enemy with machine gun fire. As they were doing that, there was a mistake made, a huge mistake, and the friendly grid for the bomb that was supposed to be dropped on the enemy, they put the friendly grid in and not the enemy grid, the location. And they dropped a 2,000-pound bomb on top of Jason and Scott and the other soldiers that were with him. Scott was killed. So you see, Scott had been born into a life and been given things for his whole life and was given all the opportunity and all the things to have a comfortable life. And Scott didn't just give those things up because of what he believed in. He gave them up for you. So you could be where you're at. So I could be here today. And Scott can't realize his full potential of what he could have done because he was a great man. And same with Jason. But they gave their lives up for you. So you could have what you have. So we could be free. So we can drive down the roads and not worry about IED bombs on the side of the road. So our biggest worry, our biggest stressor could be that making sure we don't text and drive. We can wait at the bus stop without worrying about someone coming and setting an explosive device near us. We can walk freely and say what we think without the fear of the government or someone else coming in and taking our life for it. Because people in Afghanistan don't get that luxury. So you see, this all comes back to the obligation of greatness. The fact that with the potential for greatness comes the inherent moral obligation to be so. So I hope you choose that path. I hope this gave you some things to think about and maybe let you open up that aperture, have that global perspective, and a little more gratitude in your life that you can use as fuel to achieve your greatness.